Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, Paris Dennard, Dennard, Diner, De Niro, whatever you want to call his last name, it really doesn't matter because clearly he doesn't care about his own community and he's willing to sell us out for $1, so it must not really be important to get his last name right. I'm guessing it's De Niro. I mean, I know it's Dennard, but we're going to say it's De Niro for the context of this video because clearly somebody is giving this man a check to do all this cooning and selling out of his own community for this come up that he thinks he's getting. Such a joke. And so, can we give some backstory? Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, dinero is just money in Spanish. And it's okay if you didn't know that. I do understand we live in the era where education is only 6% of the national budget. So, hey, a lot of people, stuff just ain't really connected anymore. It is what it is. That's probably why I forgot to roll the R in dinero. Dinero. Gotta work on that. Anyway, so, can we get some backstory? So, every now and then, there's a racist politician or 2 or 3 or 100. And, you know, they have this really, really horrible platform that's going to disenfranchise everybody who's not white, especially who's not a white male, especially who's not like a white straight male. It's going to disenfranchise everybody else. And so a lot of times when they're running, they recognize that not only do they need their base, but they need a lot of undecided voters to sway their way, and they need they need a handful and a sprinkle of minorities to kind of slip through the cracks and vote their way as well. And so what happens is, because their agenda or whatever it is so horrible and so offensive, they can't say a lot of the things that they want to say because it will make them look even more terrible. But if they can get somebody who looks the part of the demographics that they need in order to get these votes to say it, then it looks less terrible and it almost makes some people sway on over. And so we live in an era where you have a lot of people, especially black people, who are mouthpieces for white supremacy. A perfect example of this is Diamond and Silk. If you know them two, those are the 2 black women that did the Stump for Trump campaign. These 2 black women, they would go to the rallies and they would do all this hollering and yelling and welling, and they would go on all the news outlets and do interviews, and they would never talk about anything of substance. They would never know anything about policy. They would never know anything about budget, finance, economics, education, healthcare, none of that. They just would always push the whole thing, Trump's gonna do it, Trump's gonna take care of us. And they would go to these rallies and, you know, he gonna build that wall! He gonna build it! And the funniest thing was, like, the main one would do all the talking, then the other girl with the short wig with like the blonde or the gold, she would just echo what the other girl said. So I'm like, clearly somebody's paying y'all. So when it came out that they only got $1,200 for doing all that cooning, the way that I laughed myself to sleep, that was such a good night. I was like, y'all did all that cooning and selling out, and Trump's cheap ass only gave y'all $1,200? And he a billionaire allegedly? Alright, y'all enjoy that studio apartment that you 2 can afford for about 1 month, alright? And then y'all got to split that $1,200 before taxes? Have fun with that, okay? Anyway, and so Paris Dennard, in my opinion, I believe is one of these mouthpieces. I believe he is a black mouthpiece for white supremacy. And by the way, Paris, you have been demoted, okay? I don't like doing videos where I have to go against my own people because there's enough people doing a lot of anti-black shit already. But this doesn't even count as anti-black. This is just anti-stupid, all right? And so you are no longer a brother status, so we will not be calling you brother in this video. You have been demoted to neighbor status. Actually, not even neighbor status, because neighbors can still be jolly, and you might not F with all your neighbors, but they still somewhat cordial. You have been demoted to the person who knocks on your door at 6 p.m. while you're eating dinner, and they're trying to sell you a vacuum, and they want to do a demonstration, but the problem is you have hardwood floors, so then they ask, well, can I at least do the demonstration on your couch? No, go home. That's what you are at the moment. You have been demoted to the vacuum guy. And so, my vacuum guy, I was about to say, brother, get yourself together. And so, I'm in my room, I'm watching the news, it's like midnight or something, you know, catching the late night reruns of the news cycle, and I see 4 black people on TV. And they're going off about something, and I'm like, okay, either another black person got killed by police unarmed, Donald Trump did something else stupid, which is nothing new at this point, we should not even be shocked at anything else he does, it's just desensitized, it's just another Tuesday, it is what it is, or they're still talking about Charlottesville. And so it was a combination of the latter two. They're talking about Charlottesville and Donald Trump, not, you know, renouncing white supremacy and neo-Nazism and, you know, all the different groups that they got, because there's a million groups, you know, whatever they are. And so they're talking about that, and everybody's making these valid points. Here comes Paris. Paris gets to talking, saying a bunch of nonsense, and I'm sitting here like, what? And I was like, maybe I'm just tired. I might not be hearing this correctly. And I had to go back and like, wait a minute, this is that Paris Dennard dude. Like, he's kind of been on the radar for like 2 or 3 years, and he's been saying a lot of off-the-wall stuff as of late, especially now. Like, Paris Dennard will break his neck to defend any and everything that racist people do. Any and everything that white supremacists do. Any and everything that people do that basically disenfranchise other groups of people that are not white. He's always the main person trying to find the lane to justify. So he's on there talking all this nonsense. You know, I believe Donald Trump was very presidential with what he did. You know, and I've heard more racism coming from black people. And Black Lives Matter. You know, he started getting mad. So, by the way, it's always really funny that Black Lives Matter, they get the blame for everything now. Now, mind you, I'm not associated with any organizations. I just do me. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democratic. I'm not Democrat. I just do me. And so it's always interesting to watch from the sidelines to see how this goes. But yeah, it's funny. Black Lives Matter is just, they've been getting pounded lately from the people on that end. They like to use them as the reason that everything is wrong in this country. Okay, right. Anyway, and so he's doing all this cooning, and I'm just like, what are you doing? It got so bad. They had Cornel West on there. The fact that Cornel West had to gather this man, and he still was like doing his Paris Dennard thing. I'm like, man, they are paying you a good check. And I hope it's more than that $1,200 they gave Diamond and Silk. Otherwise, all three of y'all can be sharing a studio apartment in Atlanta next month. So I was like, what are y'all doing? But like, here's my thing. I need somebody to tell people like Diamond and Silk and Paris Dennard, man, fuck his name, whatever it is. Like, y'all, your white appreciation certificates are not coming in the mail. No matter how much cooning y'all do, no matter how much selling out y'all do, no matter how much shucking and jiving y'all try to do, your white appreciation certificate is not coming in the mail. It will not ever get you to another element or status in this country because you're always going to be black. You're always going to be treated like a black person. Even if you're rich, you will still be treated like a black person. It doesn't matter. Like the way that society treats us, it is what it is. Don't think because you have wealth or you think that you may have an education or you have some kind of social status that makes you exempt from the things that will affect black people in the long run from a structural standpoint. You're not exempt from it, all right? I always try to say this. I say this all the time. Like, listen. If there was some kind of apocalypse coming and they needed to evacuate the planet and they're making everybody leave the planet by spaceship, by race, what ship do you think you're going to have to stand in line for, okay? You certainly won't be standing in the white ship line, Paris, clearly, because one, the white ship, I would be scared to get on that anyway because they're going to be on that ship fighting because you're going to have white elites fighting the working class, fighting everybody else, and they're going to be trying to fight and kill each other and everything like that. So you might as well, you're going to have to stand in the black line. And best believe, you know what they'll do too? They'd probably be like, we're going to send you guys up to this new planet by percentages because we wanted to match the percentages on Earth. And so, the black population is allegedly 13%. They would do some foul stuff and be like, oh no, our new census from 2020 said that y'all make up 2% of the population. So they only let, black people make up 2% of the new population. But they do some stuff where they probably forget to put oil in our ship, so our ship would never make it off the planet. But anyway, back to my main point. Like, sir, you're going to have to stand in the black line. And the thing about it is, I feel like, the alt-right and the neo-Nazis and the KKK and the Aryan Nation and the skinheads and the fact that I'm naming more than 5 groups and I still can name more, like, there's too many of y'all. The fact that there's that many groups that hate us and they can't even agree on how much they hate us, that they gotta have these different groups, get y'all stuff together. But, I feel like all those groups don't even respect somebody like Paris Dennard because Paris Dennard comes off as weak. Like, he comes off as weak. He's not even confident with his nonsense. Here's my thing. If you're gonna align yourself with some bullshit, you need to do it and own it. Like, you better be so good at it. You know who's good at their nonsense? And I put them in the class of ain't shitness? Omarosa. You know what? Omarosa's not a stupid woman. She's very intelligent. Got all kind of degrees, accolades. She's actually worked in the White House under 2 administrations. But she knows that she ain't shit. She knows that she's selling out her community. Even though she's trying to put on the front, oh, I'm in charge of, public relations for African American outreach. Right. And so she knows that she ain't it, but she wants that come up. So she's doing all the cooning and selling out that she can do to get this $180,000 she's making a year. And she has no shame with it. She owns it and she's like, and what? What you gonna do? Boom. What you gonna do about it? It is what it is. And I'm like, okay, Omarosa, I'm mad at you, but I'm not mad at you, but I'm pissed at you, but ooh, you make me sick, but I almost want to give you a high five because you figured out how to rig the system, but you did it at the expense of your own community, stupid. And so I'm just like, you know what, Omarosa? I don't have time for it. Another example, Sheriff David Clarke from Milwaukee. He's that cop that walks around with the Captain Crunch outfit on. It has all kind of badges and gadgets and shells and bees and medals and pins and all kind of stuff that has nothing to do with his police force. That's where them things be saying like Kroger, Boy Scouts, AARP, it be saying all kind of stuff. I'm like, that ain't got nothing to do with no police service. What you doing? All right, wearing your Cub Scout badges and you about 60. But no, he's a perfect example of that. Like, he is a good mouthpiece for white supremacy. He goes and he owns that crap. He went to that GOP convention. Before I go in there, I want to say, Blue Lives Matter. Oh, and then on top of that, he had just put like the Just for Men in his beard. That beard was jet black. Jet black. And so he went in there looking all angry because another thing is, whenever black people are doing some selling out, they always got to be mad when they do it. Blue Lives Matter. All lives matter. You know, he was saying all the right stuff to get all the racist people jumping up and down and excited. I'm just like, you know what? But like people like them, I feel like the alt-right and the neo-Nazis and all them, they have a little bit more respect for them because they look confident. They want somebody like that to represent them. Not Paris Dennard, who's coming on there using his fake-ass soft voice that he's trying to use because somebody told him that the softer he speaks, the less threatening he appears. But he took his voice a little bit too much. It's too soft for my liking, okay? I know I have a thin, high-pitched voice, but this dude is on the news sounding like LaToya Jackson trying to speak and make points. You sound stupid. I just believe, What you doing? What you doing, man? Making everybody look bad. Ooh, Lord. It's a hot mess. So somebody needs to tell Paris. Paris, what you doing? Another person who I used to think, well, I used to think Don Lemon was one of these people too. Because all up until maybe last year, he was the main one saying the most anti-black stuff on the news all the time. He'd be quick to throw us under the bus. Ferguson was going down. He was all out there, you know, obviously the smell of marijuana's in the air. And saying, you know, black people, pull up your pants and you won't get shot by police. He was the main one saying all that crap. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Van Jones jumped him in the parking lot of CNN one day or something. I don't know. But for like the last year, he has totally went the other way. I feel like he's trying to come back home. However, I still don't trust him, so you're not invited to the barbecue. So you got to stand across the street. I'll let you stand across the street. You can catch the fumes from the grill, but you're not coming across the street. But you are in a better position than Diamond and Silk and Paris and Omarosa and Sheriff Clarke, because they're not even allowed to be on the same side of the freaking block. They need to be like way down the street. I don't even want to see them. All right, like, nah. So, you know, they're over there at their picnic eating mayonnaise sandwiches, and they need to stay over there. Anyway, Paris, this is the thing. And sometimes people are always like, why is it that black people always go against other black people who don't vote like Democratic, or vote as Democrats? Here's the thing. Again, I'm not either or, but the thing is, we are not a monolithic group of people, and you listen, vote however you want, but just recognize that when black people have to vote, and black people have to do certain things, and mind you, I'm not a big hoopla person about voting, but I participate just because, but I do recognize that you have to do more than vote to get things to, you know, happen how you want it to happen. The thing is, when black people vote, when black people go for any kind of cause, we always have to do it from a defensive standpoint. We're doing it to protect ourselves from the attacks of other larger powers that are trying to screw us over. When other groups of people are voting, they're voting for one issue or something. Like, the interesting thing about this last election, watching all these Trump supporters who were like working class, poor white people who literally had nothing, not a pot to piss in, their biggest thing was jobs, 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 jobs. Jobs, you know, he's gonna do it, jobs. Cool. When black people vote, it's like, damn, okay, we gotta make sure we vote for this person so they don't put nobody crazy in the Supreme Court, and we don't lose our right to vote, and they don't gerrymander anything, and they don't try to endorse the school prison pipeline and the mandatory minimum sentences and the forced sterilizations and the overabundance of school suspensions for black youth and the overabundance of black youth being put in remedial like, we have to think of all that stuff when we vote. We have to basically, before we can even vote on larger issues, we have to think of everything that's going to affect us in the long run before we can even get to the larger policies that talk about the overall well-being and the structure of the country as a whole. Like, black people are forced to do that. So when there's other black people who are just blatantly going out of their way to mess that up and do stupid things, and they know that this country has a history of screwing us over each and every time, of course they're going to get some flack. And it's not even a Republican-Democratic thing, because to be honest, both parties, in my opinion, you know what I mean? And so, like, but Paris, you are an embarrassment. There is no amount of money that should be worth your dignity. Because the thing about it is, this administration is not going to be here forever. You know, this is a 4 or 8 year journey. It might be another 2-month journey depending on what's going on. He might be out the door. And my thing is, what you gonna do for yourself afterwards? Like, there's no amount of selling out that you can do to get your dignity back. You know, once your dignity's gone, it's gone forever. So you need to think about that while you're throwing your whole community under the bus. Ooh, Paris. Somebody get that. Ooh, that just get under my skin. And it's crazy. I was at an event one time and he was there. I was at an election watch night party and it was at this restaurant, Mulebone in DC, and like TV One was doing a special. And man, there was a woman named Avis. What's her name? Avis. It was Avis. Oh my God. Avis DeWeaver. And she was on the panel. He was on the panel. And of course, you know, he's the one black Republican up there, so he's saying all this bullshit and all this other nonsense and everything. And so the mood of the party started changing as the states kept going red, pop, 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 pop. I was like, yo, Hillary about to lose this shit. And so when Ohio went red, the whole mood in places changed. People started leaving. And so Paris is on an island by himself. He's talking all this trash to you. And we told you it's a new day around here, blah, blah, blah. When I tell you this Avis lady cussed him out in front of, oh, it was so good. Oh, she dragged him. She cussed that man out and took it right out the door like it was nothing. I was like, dang, Paris, you messed up. All right. But no, Paris, you're such a disgrace, man. So disappointing. So disappointing. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something about black people. When black people go against other black people and do that whole anti-black thing, something always happens to them. Either they age or their hair starts falling out. And if you notice, all that hair starting to fall out, he's going gray. Look what happened to Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash, we used to give her compliments because she would never age. And as soon as she got down with Fox News, look what happened. Everything shriveled up. Just shriveled up. Like, his ancestors just be doing it to y'all every time. Y'all need to watch out. Quit playing. Don't sleep on the black folks. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.